Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gaming Zone, teaming up with Anastasia Lazerbeam and
Yay!
guest from the X-Pound, Marcus Shadow.
Yellow.
And today we have an extra special guest of Mark.
Hello.
And we're going to be reviewing Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the 3DS and the Wii U.
It's not Brawl, it's just Super Smash Brothers.
Sorry, Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS and the Wii U.
Yeah.
Which they came out pretty much at the same time, so what does everyone think with the presentation of the game before we get into the gameplay? Presentation!
I think it looks great. It's the most beautiful of the Smash Brothers games, which makes sense because it's the current gen version, so it should look better than the other ones.
It looks good on the Wii U version. It looks very begging to be high def and on the 3DS, which I know they can't do, but it just looks less. It just looks a whole lot less. It looks really jaggy and pixelated.
The 3DS one is sort of cell shady. I kind of like the idea. Although I will say, when everyone is cell shaded, is there really a difference between Link and Toon Link?
The graphics may not be as good, but you get it in 3D.
But only if you hold it at the particular sweet spot and don't move.
But
Unless you play it, yeah, I was about to say, unless you play on the 3DS XL, then that camera tracks your face, and you can play it anywhere you want.
I've played on the new 3DS, and it still has the sweet spot. It's just been increased. If you move too much, because the camera has nothing to do with the 3D, if you move it too much, it basically makes it so you can't see the screen. Because the problem, Marcus, isn't that the camera needs to read you to show the 3D. Your eyes need to see the 3D on the display. So the display's been improved, but if you still move it too far one way or the other, you can lose the sweet area for the 3D to display.
Because what I heard is that it tracks your head so that the 3D knows where your head is. So when you move it, yeah, it'll kind of fuzz out a little bit because the camera has to retrack your head, and then it just retracts it. Basically moves the 3D to where your face is if you give it like a minute to track you.
Yeah,
what I heard.
When I used the new 3DS, it worked better for the 3D, but yeah, it still had areas where it just wouldn't work and stuff. So I was like, okay,
fair
and
enough.
I ended up turning off the 3D again.
Fair enough.
Thus, I say the 2DS is superior, because the 3DS playing is only 3D at a certain area, but the 2DS is 2D everywhere.
Really?
Fair enough. Well, since you've actually played it with the new 3DS, well, this is slightly off topic, but I'm kind of curious. What do you think of the new C-Stick, or your C-Nub?
That just sounds wrong.
It was okay, but I might be the wrong person to ask, because I don't even like the 3DS sticks. But I don't like
because I know they added a little nub stick, and I heard it's responsive.
And I don't like the Vita ones. I don't really feel comfortable in my hand. I much prefer proper control pad analog stick. I don't like playing with them. That's why I don't handheld a lot.
Fair enough. Anyway, Smash Brothers, yeah. The presentation. The presentation actually goes into probably my biggest complaint with the game. If it's anyone who's listened to the last XGR knows, lack of an actual single-player campaign. Now, I understand why the creator opted not to do it, but I'm like, I liked the single-player campaign in, was it Brawl, I think was the last one. I loved that. Yes, that was fucking amazing. And it was like kind of unique for each character. You had some slightly unique story for a character because they were going through in different, through different eyes. And I kind of liked that. And then, it made you feel like you were playing as the character. This one, it's more like, here, go fight people. And it's just like, really?
Yeah, I loved the Subspace Embassy. I don't hate what they've done with this one. I preferred the Subspace Embassy to not having it, but not having it isn't a great deal because it reminds me of like the first Super Smash Brothers and stuff, where you didn't really have a story other than go through an arcade mode.
Fair enough. I never had an N64, so I never actually played the first one non-multiplayer.
You didn't have an N64?
Nope.
What should be a
Sadly.
law against that?
You would have missed out on so many great games like Ocarina of Time and No Mercy and GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah.
That's what my roommates and neighbors in college were for. Because my roommate had an N64, and he had Ocarina of Time. He was like, "Here, you can play it if you want." I was like, "Cool." So I beat it.
But I don't know. What do you think, Mark, about the single player stuff?
There wasn't really a whole lot of single player at all. It seems like they spent more time, which rightly so they should have, on the multiplayer that they just kind of overlooked single player.
I can agree with that because even the best, most of the best fighting games in the world, in my opinion, the multiplayer is always the main part.
Right.
It's like a first-person shooter. The story, you don't. Who buys a first-person shooter for the story? Unless it's just a really huge story-based one. Most of the time, you buy like Call of Duty to play online and play multiplayer and shoot people.
Right, but even games like, say, I don't know, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, whatever, games like those, the more modern ones that don't have a lot of story, they still at least have a single-player story. They still have something that would make you want to play solo and maybe make you want to go through with the different characters and stuff. Because there is a little bit of story, and you get to again feel like you're that character. This one, it feels like because he got so pissed off about the growth of the internet, he just said, "Fuck the single player altogether," and I don't like that.
That's because this is a different experience, if you will, to like the Street Fighters or the Marvel v Capcoms, where they're more like, okay, you're going to want the arcade mode, you're going to want to keep doing all the characters, learn what matches you so you'll fight better online, whatever you want to do. With Smash Brothers, because it's more of a casual fight, which I think Pew would agree, as a result, the idea is you just want to pick your favorite person. Like you want to be, oh yeah, I want to be Link. Let's go through and kill everything as Link. So you don't want to have to play as the other characters to get everything. Therefore, they haven't made you, and you can do stuff like the crazy hand stuff. That's where the replayability is, where it's awesome. Where it's like, okay, how hard can I go before I start to lose prizes and stuff? And it's like, yeah, and you're challenging yourself, and you replay to unlock all the pieces for your Miis, all the moves, all the customization and all that stuff. That's replayability without having to hurt the casual experience of making, like, I don't know, let's say the fanboy of Pikachu have to run through as Mario.
Which is fine. I don't know. I don't like the single player experience that they put in. I really hate the whole moving around the little piddly Pokemon arena, and fucking fighting guys. I was like, okay, look, I understand that you got butthurt over the fact that people made Let's Plays of your shit and you didn't want that shit disseminated on the internet. Fair enough. That doesn't mean you should take out the campaign mode entirely. Strip it down a little bit instead of putting cutscenes in, like fucking steal a page out of Capcom's book and put like still images or something. It's like, just because you're butthurt doesn't mean you should take the entire experience out of the game.
They have streamlined it.
They don't have they don't really, they streamlined it way too far. There's like no story at all, and I don't like that.
What about challenge mode, where you're going through and you read the challenge and it tells you about the fight you're about to do and why it's important, and then you go through as whichever character it is or whatever and win the fight?
That's one thing I really like.
Yeah, the challenge mode is cool, but I'm saying there should be at least a short campaign for each character. That's all I'm saying. It just seems like he did a 180 just because he got butthurt over the fact that people weren't paying to see the cutscenes. It's like, well, you don't know how Let's Plays work. You're just doing it based on the fact that you're getting butthurt. Like, screw off. I want a campaign mode.
I will also say that sounds like you're butthurt about him, because he wasn't complaining about Let's Plays where people would be watching the fights. He was complaining about people ripping just the videos and putting just the cutscenes up on YouTube as it's like one giant movie, so people would just watch that and never have to touch the Subspace Embassy or play through it at all. That was his complaint, not the Let's Plays, not people using it in tournaments, but was people ripping the movies and putting it online so people would be like, I can just watch the cinematics and not have to ever play the game. It had nothing to do with Let's Plays.
And that's fair enough. It sounded like he was saying just in general people putting it up in general, you know, the just the videos or people doing let's plays of the campaign mode. But still, that's still no excuse to completely take it out. He could have just streamlined it if he felt like, okay, I don't want to put that kind of work and effort into it if people aren't going to pay for it. Fair enough. Like I said, go the kind of Crapcom route and do images. You know, or put in some sort of campaign, but you don't have to do cutscenes. I would have been a little disappointed with no cutscenes, but I would have been like, okay, fair enough, I understand it. That's fine. There's still a campaign. I'm happy.
And I will also say, don't you mean Capcom?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry,
don't know, just rub
Ultra
me the
Street
wrong way.
Fighter 4 came out the same year as Smash Brothers. Much better fighter, made by Capcom.
Fair enough. Just rub me the wrong way that he just said fuck the campaign altogether. I'm like, no.
Yeah, which
And the
is
thing he gave us, it seems like he gave it what he gave us, he did it to spite those people who put it. I'm like, really? So because of those people, you just don't give a shit about part of your product. That's wonderful.
Which I will say, yeah, part of it was to spite the people that cut off that just put up the cinematics, but the other part of it as well was to bring Smash Brothers more back to what it was supposed to be, and that was supposed to be the casual experience of, okay, I'm just going to go and say, hey, Pew, let's play Smash Brothers. Boom, you put it on. Or let's say if Mark's at Pew's house, hey, Mark, yeah, here you go, pass him a control pad, just play Smash Brothers. It was all about multiplayer and about picking up the control pad and just playing. It was never meant to be about big campaigns or stories. That was just something they added later, which not a lot of the audience did like, to be fair. I mean, a lot of people hated Subspace Embassy and wanted it removed anyway.
I will say that in the Super Smash Bros. GameCube one, where they had the
Melee?
Yeah, Melees. They had those little adventure areas, and then they'd go from adventure area to fight scene, adventure area, fight scene.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool, and I wouldn't mind, like, they don't have to have a whole story behind it, because it was the same, like, adventure fight kind of pattern over, and you just did it with every character, but I liked that, so it's nice to break up the fighting once in a while just to do that sort of thing, so I wouldn't mind if they brought that back.
Yeah, like I said, it is nice to do that. I just like the idea that they went back to what the series was supposed to be, instead of trying to match other games. But that might just personally be me. It's like, if I play Mario Party, I don't want a story.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, especially with the Subspace Embassy thing, I really enjoyed learning how the characters interact and how they're there, and I also liked what they did with it, where you got basically a taste of each of the characters' games, because you had like Link going through like a dungeon from Zelda, or you had Mario going through like an underground portion from Mario, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, I'll say most characters.
Yeah, most characters. But I thought that was kind of cool that they did that, and then in this one it's just like, nope, and I'm like, but there is a single-player audience. Yeah, it's probably less than the multiplayer audience, but that's what I always loved about Smash Brothers, was the fact that it could cater to any audience. That's why it was such a great casual game. You could play with your friends, couch co-op, in a party setting, or you could go and play on your own if you just wanted to hone your skills and you wanted to, there was a story, so it kept you involved. And maybe it's just me, because with like the hardcore fighting games like Tekken and stuff like that, I got bored really, really fast just honing my skills. The story part of it was pretty cool, but it was still the same thing over and over and over again, and it's just like, I would have preferred something more unique for each character, and that's what I loved about Smash Brothers, because all the characters in these games are so unique, because they come from different games and different worlds. Each part of the story, each of their stories, felt like a unique part of an entire whole, and I liked that, and I missed that.
Yeah, like I said, I did like the Subspace Embassy, minus the fact, which annoyed me, with Subspace Embassy and Brawler. I don't know if Mark or Pew were the same way, because I don't think I've mentioned this to Marcus in the past, but it annoyed me how they advertised the crap out of Sonic is in Smash Brothers. Oh my god, it's Sonic fighting Mario, and you play through all the Subspace Embassy, and he shows up at the end, does a salute, and fucks off.
That was pretty shitty.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Seriously, what the
Yeah.
fuck is that?
Yeah.
that was beyond shitty. That almost ruined it. But like I said, there was a load of people, to be fair, with the Subspace Embassy who played Smash Brothers 1, 2, and all that, who were fans of the series that didn't like that mode and wanted it gone.
Hmm.
Which is unfortunate, but you do get that sometimes.
Yeah, but aside from that, the rest of the presentation was great. I liked all the little like mini games and stuff. Aside from that shitty ass board game, just no. Why is there like half-assed Mario Party in my Smash Brothers? No. But you know, a lot of the mini games from the previous iterations came back and were improved. Now, one thing I don't like is the fact that almost pretty much every character seems to auto run, which if you're trying to do the home run derby thing, makes it damn near impossible to do right. Because you'll end up running past the bat or running past the sack, and it's just like, But most of them are pretty fun. I like the mini games.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it, and also it's kind of useful sometimes because what I would do is I would beat the crap out of the bag with the regular attack, and at the last second I'd grab the bat and then run back and hit it, and get that way because you could damage the bag a lot better with your regular attacks than you can with the bat. So it helps you can run forward and back.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying is you beat them up, but then when you go grab the bat and you turn around, because you usually wait till like 1 or 2 seconds left on the clock, you grab the bat, you turn around, and you're trying to rush to get up to the sack to hit it, and because there's the auto run, especially if you're like Little Mac, do not use Little Mac for that. If anybody's out there listening, do not use Little Mac for the home run derby. He sucks because he's too fast.
He's the one I got the highest score with.
Really? I found I got my highest score with Ganondorf because I went for the slower character where I could actually, stop and hit the bag.
Yeah,
because
like
I used his
he did as well. I did that with Little Mac because he's fast enough that it can take you less time to grab the band, so you go boom and hit him when you learn how to use him. And it's like he's awesome.
Maybe I think it was his B move or something where you just beat the crap out of the bag right before you go to grab the bat.
Fair enough. Maybe it's just a difference in playing styles because I hate the speed characters. I like Little Mac in fighting, but even in the fighting, I have a tendency to run off the edge because he's too fast.
Yeah, I like the up close fighting and quickness of Little Mac. Although I will admit he has become pretty much my beat slut.
Oh.
Well, I'm a big my Mii character is like a big up close melee fight brawler type. With Little Mac being the king of boxing and up close fighting, which one is the one I'm always going to try and make beat? I want someone that I can beat in his own area. It's like, yes.
True.
It's like when they announced DCO and they said you could be a villain. My first thought was I want to kill Superman. And it wasn't because I don't like Superman. It was just because Superman existed and he was this massive icon godlike character. But I was like, I want to be a villain. I want to kill Superman. Just because I can, and I will always be the guy that killed Superman. The second time.
True.
But let's go over to gameplay and kick us off with gameplay, Mark.
Gameplay? It's Smash Brothers. Simple to pick up and difficult to master.
I could see that.
With so many different characters, different play styles, you could go through the entire roster in a year and still have stuff to learn.
Yep, I do like the depth to it. Like, I love the fact they brought back the dash. That was awesome. Because if you used in melee, it was awesome where if you learn how to do it, you could go up close, do all the dashes and stuff, beat the crap out of people. Then in Brawl, they were like, oh, people don't like this, we want our handheld, let's remove it. It's like, fuck off. That's one of the reasons, in my opinion, as cool as Brawl was, it was not as good as any of the previous iterations. Because Brawl held your hand too much, and that might be partly because the console of the Wii itself was more casual. The Wii U, they've tried to get back more of the hardcore, more everyone. Therefore, more games on the Wii U seem to be depth, which I like.
Yeah.
But how about you, Pew?
I like gameplay wise. It's missing the core element of Smash Run from the 3DS onto the Wii U, because that was the best single player experience. Like, I could be doing that forever. Oh god, because it's all collecting and it's everything, and that's the best things. I don't like the Smash Tour because I don't like switching from character to character, because I get my head wrapped around one character and then another character handles completely different, and I have to switch them up, and I don't particularly like that. But I love the Smash Run, and that's the best thing that the 3DS. That's the best thing about the 3DS. Get the 3DS one for Smash Run. That's it.
Yeah,
Um,
I will say Smash Tour is pretty bad. I mean, it's okay to play through in single-ish, but that mode's just for multiplayer. So, like, there's a group of you, and you're like, okay, and you're collecting stuff, and then it's like, okay, and which I've done with, like, 3 or 4 people, and it's been like, yeah, okay, so now we're going to have to swap up and play. It's like, oh, God, no. And the multiplayer makes the mode fun, but for single-player, that mode's just, it's not even worth playing.
Yeah.
it's really rare.
Yes, that's exactly how I'd describe it as rare. I wouldn't use words I'd describe as rare.
I think the
That's how
controls
it
are
makes
pretty
me feel.
smooth. They're pretty tight. Like I said, I don't like the constant run. I wish, like maybe it was like a toggle or something, or like where you have to hold the button down to run, so you can kind of control your speed. I like that you have one, especially because they expanded to be able to hold 8 characters in one level. They have a few massive levels for that, so you need a way to get across the level quickly. And for that, they've also introduced a few moves or modified some of the characters' moves to be able to close distances quickly, which I kind of like.
Although,
But overall, the controls are really good.
Yeah, I like the
Really
controls.
solid.
I also will give props to gameplay, which we need to cover for the review.
Mhm.
I love there's multiple different control styles. You can
Yeah.
play with a GameCube control pad, or you can play with the Wii U gamepad and see the
Mhm.
screen and stuff, which is awesome. You can play with the Pro controller if you want a more traditional experience. Awesome. You can play with the Wiimote and the nunchuck if you enjoy that. I personally don't, but that's there. Or you can even get an adapter and play with a GameCube control pad because you're an idiot and don't realize the Pro controller exists.
I second that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the GameCube control pad. It is a great control pad, but it's like the Pro controller is so close and so good. It's like, why make another adapter just to play as a GameCube controller? What's the point? But I don't know. Which method does everyone prefer playing as? Mark, which is your control scheme or control pad preference?
I use the 3DS because it's like the buttons are customized the way I want them to be. So
Nice.
if I'm playing by myself, if I go to someone else's house, I just boot up my 3DS and all my shit's already saved.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize you could use the 3DS as a control pad for the game as well. That's a great idea.
I
How about
also, I prefer the Pro controller.
Nice. How about
Me
Marcus?
too. I use the Pro Controller.
I use the Pro controller.
Pro Controller, the official Wii U controller of the X-Pound.
I will just say for the people listening, I have no problem with the gamepad if that's what people are thinking. My only problem with the gamepad is the battery runs out in about 4 hours, which means I've got like no fucking. I have to go. Oh wait, let me plug in and recharge. Oh, I'm like a caveman. Whereas with the Pro controller, I can hold my Pro controller in my hand, and I believe the battery in the Pro controller is better than PS4, Xbox One, PS3, Xbox 360, or any control pad I've ever seen. That's probably got the best battery, which makes it just perfect to just play for hours on end, and it's comfortable.
Yeah,
It is.
it's got an insane battery life. Like seriously, Sony, Microsoft, y'all need to talk to Nintendo and figure out what the fuck they're using in that controller.
I would argue maybe the PS4 could actually have a decent control pad with great battery if, it didn't waste most of its battery on a giant fucking spotlight.
Yeah, the Move Light. Yeah.
I hate that. I wish you could turn it off. I've got the camera, and I still wish even though I know I'm in the camera, I still wish I could turn it off because it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, you should be able to shut off the move functionality of the controller. That'd be nice. I agree.
But I do love, like I said, I love the Pro controller, and I just love the experience that the of being able to do that. But so let's talk about the next bit of gameplay and stuff. Let's talk about extra content and stuff.
All right.
Yep, I love
Well,
the customizability. I love the fact that you can like customize not only the look of the characters now, because with you have to have 8 different versions of the character, so there's a lot of different. There's like they have like what 16 colors, like usually 10 to 16 colors of different colors and varied costumes for people. It's ridiculous. And then you can customize like they now have like kind of bare basic stats, but you can customize them with like I think they badges or something that change up their stats. I think that's kind of cool. So you can customize it to your playstyle. So you can make like a glass cannon that's all about offense, but if he gets touched, he dies instantly, or all about defense. So like he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but you can turtle with him, take a lot of punishment, and outlast people. You can make someone really, really fast or really, really slow. I think that's kind of awesome. And then especially with the new Mii fighter, you could customize the look of your Mii fighter and unlock different costume pieces for that. And I really like that.
Yeah,
also customize your special moves.
That's how my
And the
Mii
moves,
pretty much is. My Mii pretty much exists to do damage.
Yep. And then and as Pew mentioned, just pointed out, they now allow you to customize your regular special moves. Each character has a variant on a special move, so you can choose one of 2, but you have to unlock the second variant. Whereas with your Mii fighter, whichever one you choose to go with, there is the sword fighter, the bare knuckle brawler, and the Samus Aran. I mean Mega Man. I mean Cannon. And that comes already pre-equipped with 3 moves for each special move slot, and you can just choose what you want to use. And I think that's kind of cool because it allows you to even take Link and make him unique to a degree.
Yep, which is awesome. I will say there is one part of the extras I don't like, and I'll just get that negative out the way, and it's just a small little thing. It doesn't hurt the game at all. They have a mode where you can put the trophies on a playing field, put them out, and make your own picture. Requires an SD card.
Wow.
And I'm like, I understand why, because you want us to export the pictures and stuff. Cool. Make the SD part what you need to save the pictures, because you do have a feature of the Wii U which people always overlook and think Sony and Microsoft suddenly invented this shit when this console came out first. You can actually take pictures and send them straight to Twitter, which means I could literally make this picture and then just send it to Twitter. I don't need to save it, but at least give me an option so I can use the picture. Because I kind of like stuff like that, because I like customizing. Like, I love all the trophies you can get them and putting them on the display cases and being like, okay, they look so pretty. But
and it's like, and Nintendo, you do realize you put a hard drive in your system, right? Hard drive equals storage device. Are we seeing the link here?
I put a hard drive in it?
Also, under extras, I guess that would be from Amiibos.
Yeah, and I was partly kidding with that, Marcus, because I wasn't sure if it was actually. I can't remember if the Wii U was counted as an actual hard drive or if it's like all flash-based memory.
Oh, is it flash memory? Okay, I assumed they had like just maybe like a small solid-state drive or something in there.
It might be.
You're right. It could be flash memory.
It could be, but either way, it's too small. It's too small when they want us to purchase stuff from the eShop. Damn it! I've ran out of memory on my Wii U a few times. I still need to buy an external hard drive to move shit.
Yeah, but as P mentioned, also Amiibos. Good point. Which I actually own 2. They're sitting here right next to me. Actually, I have Link and Samus. I'm planning to purchase more.
Kirby
I own 2.
In Villager.
I have Mario and Samus.
I love the Samus one. She looks awesome.
Did you buy any Amiibos, Mark?
I did not. I got one.
You got my Kirby.
Yeah.
You're the one you bought me one.
And we got him to level 50, and he beat both of our asses with his eyes closed.
Yeah. It's the big black mark, as we like to say, because it's a black Kirby.
I have to say, the Amiibos I really like actually the level of detail on the amiibos. It's surprising with the size of the amiibos. It's surprising the amount of detail that's in these little figurines.
I will say I will say with the amiibos, I love how you use them.
Hmm.
I don't like the figures.
Really?
Yes, which I'll go more into, spoiler alert, when we do our awards for, I believe, maybe XGR with worst game to toy. Because some of the figures, like with Link having that piss stain coming out of him, and when you've seen them in the I've seen some in the shop where they've fallen off their stands and shit. They're not
Oh,
as good a
really?
quality as like Skylanders or Disney Infinity, which is much. Disney Infinity is the best of those figures in my opinion. They're not that good
Mhm.
quality.
Yeah, fair enough. Mine haven't fallen off, so I hope they don't. The one thing I don't like about the amiibos, and it's to me, it's kind of lack of foresight on Nintendo's part. It's like, really, why did you design it this way? The fact that it can only store one thing. So if you have multiple games that need to store data on your amiibo, you can only choose your amiibo to be linked to
That's
one game.
that's not a fault of Nintendo. That's because the way these figures work is the same way as Skylanders work. Look at the size of them. They can only hold like enough memory in there for like one character, and it's like Skylanders where they'll hold it just for the Skylanders series, but they don't use them in something else. But Nintendo wanted these to be used in so much more that it was almost their ambition with the limitations slightly hurt it, but it was a good idea. But yeah, my amiibos haven't fallen off either. I've just seen them in the store, like inside the box with like fucking like I've seen like fucking like Link just lying on his side next to his piss stain, and I'm like, oh great, he's a sim.
I don't know, just with the size of the bases, because they made these, for those who haven't seen the amiibos or don't have them, they're basically the Super Smash Brothers trophies, complete with the Super Smash Brothers Smash Ball base. But what the size of base is, I'm like, it wouldn't have been that hard to slide like a micro SD card in there, like a fucking like 20 gig micro SD card, and be like, there, use that for your memory. Come on, the technology's there. I just, to me, with the level of technology that we have in today's society, there is no excuse for a one game limitation of data.
Yeah,
They
but
want
think
you to buy more figures.
I say there is because the limitation was A, they want you to buy more figures, but B, they also have a lot of that isn't just the memory. A lot of that technology in that base, Marcus, will be the near field communication, so it can be read by the games.
you also have to think of what that would do to the cost if you were to put memory sticks in all those figures. A $20 figure suddenly becomes a $50 figure, even if you put as little as, I don't know, like 512 megs of memory in it.
Yeah,
True.
which
That is true.
Have a thicker
Because
base
you have the art, you have the actual physical artwork on top, the near field communication, and the data. So it's like 3 things in there.
yeah, which is cool. I will admit I do plan to buy more amiibos for future games in the future.
I
But
actually also bought the young Toon Link one, which will come out in February.
yeah, I plan to buy Sonic from that wave. I think just because
Yeah.
Sonic. That's right, people. I'm a Sonic fan. Well, that's
I
right,
think
people.
anybody who knows you would already know that you're a Sonic fan.
Yeah, I'm a Hedgehog guy. That's my T-shirt, Marcus. I'm a Hedgehog guy. But no, well, let's go to the final verdict then, to me, man, because I think we've pretty much covered most of the basics, at least. Because let's face it, you probably everyone out there already who's going to see this, it's probably people who own the Wii U. They probably already own Smash Brothers by now, but it's still nice to hear our opinions in case you're on the fence. But who wants to kick off with their final thoughts first, with their rating system that they prefer to use? Let's go to Marcus.
Well, I do really like this game. You'll hear more about it in the forthcoming around the pound tomorrow. So I'll say.
He means the awards part 3, because you may not literally hear this tomorrow because we don't know when this is going up on our respective channels.
True. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's a really good game. Single player notwithstanding.
Nice. Okay, and next, let's go to Mark minus Dios.
Well, if you have friends, you like couch co-op style games, and you just need to beat something into the wall, then I would say the new Smash Brothers is fantastical. But there are a lot of features that are missing, a lot of things they could have done better, something that you can't patch with DLC. I would say a B plus.
Nice. And over to Pew. Pew pew.
I would say it's a really fun game for children of all ages, and it's only even better supplemented by the amiibos, which don't it doesn't make it unplayable or anything against the game if you don't get it, but it does make it even better. So. And the fact you can customize it, and because everybody was asking, oh, put Reggie in the game, put Reggie in the game. Well, now you technically can, because they have that, so that was really smart of them to put the amiibos in, so you can pretty much make any character you want. So I'd say
I can make Amy the Hedgehog.
yeah, sure, if you can make her into a me.
Hmm.
How would you want to do that?
I like Amy the Hedgehog.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think this is overall a great experience. I give it like a nice solid 8 out of 10. Although again, I feel like numbers are super subjective, and that's my personal experience, and numbers again are relevant. But yeah, it's a positive experience in general.
Numbers are up
I
to the
recommend it.
person. Numbers are
Yeah.
based on your own personal numbers, obviously, but so is the rest of what we've said. We could turn around and say this game is great, everyone play it, everyone will like it, and someone could buy it and be like, I don't like this. It's entirely subjective. But I will say, in my opinion, for my rating, I'm going to say this is a great game if you're not dead inside. And it's fun if you have friends. If you're capable of friendships and aren't dead inside, you should totally run out and buy this game. I rate this as a buy. And it does have a great online mode too. So even if your friends are in different countries, different regions, different cities, doesn't matter. You can play with them. Or hell, even if you have no friends, you can still play with people online you don't know, or it's not as good an experience. I give this a solid buy out of my buy, rent, or avoid system. It's a buy.
I can agree with that.
And it's not region locked, so regardless of what country your friends are in, anywhere, boom, got it.
Yep. So, thank you for joining us for the Super Smash Brothers, and thank you to thank you for the 3 people for joining us, or joining me, I should say.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And see ya.